welcome. Today I want to talk about conquering binge eating, why I'm 5 years binge free today. There's one specific thing that I specifically did that is the reason why I am binge free today. So I spent 10 years of my life restricting certain foods, fearing certain foods, thinking about food 24/7. I would be waking up and first thing in the morning, I'd already be thinking about what's for breakfast. And as I was eating breakfast, I was thinking, is this enough protein? Should I really be eating this? Is this healthy enough? I'd already be thinking about what's for snack. And then as I'm eating my snack and I'm thinking about lunch, I'm like, well, I'm going to decide what I'm going to have for lunch based off of what I had for breakfast. So if for breakfast I had oatmeal, then you probably shouldn't have more carbs for lunch. Like, food was just on my mind 24/7. And I knew that binge eating didn't feel like me. And I'm sure you can relate where you're like, you intellectually know that you're full and your body's like, keep on going. Your body's like, keep on eating. And it's so frustrating because it doesn't feel like the real you. You're like, I'm full, but it feels like you just can't stop. That's really what binge eating was. And a huge reason why I decided to even conquer binge eating in the first place was because it didn't feel like me. It didn't feel like me. I used to love dressing up. I used to love like putting on high heels and dresses and going out with my boyfriend at the time. I used to love like feeling good and I grew up as a competitive dancer. I was always like front and center performing. And when I started binge eating, I started like shying away and it didn't feel like I was myself. I lacked confidence. I stopped dressing up. I would be wearing clothes that like just made me feel comfortable. Like I'd be in a baggy t-shirt and shorts. And I'm like, this didn't actually feel like the real me. I used to be like this bubbly person. But then I started being very snappy. I hated the way that I was speaking to my family, more in particularly my mom. I'm like, in the moment, I just snap at her. And I'm like, after I would literally like cry because I'm like, my mom doesn't deserve this. She's just asking me a simple question and I'm snapping at her because I binge, and that's not fair. It's not fair that I am being so snappy and irritable around somebody that I love so much just because I'm struggling with food. Like, that's not fair. Even with my husband, like not even wanting to be intimate because I was so full and bloated based off of how much I ate that day. That wasn't fair to him. One Halloween, I remember my boyfriend at the time and I were planning to go out for dinner, and I was trying to get a hold of him because I'm like, I need to know where we're going, what's the restaurant called, like what time, because I need to know like how am I eating throughout the day. I need to look up the menu ahead of time. And he wasn't answering my cell phone, and I got so mad because I'm like, you can't just expect me to show up to a restaurant that I don't even know what the restaurant is. Like, I need to look up the menu. I need to know what I need to eat for lunch, because then that's going to determine what I'm going to order for dinner. And I was so like, I was so like mad. And I realized that's not normal. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be snappy around my mom. I didn't want to ruin this date night with the person that I love so much because I was wondering like, what am I allowed to eat for dinner? Like, I didn't want that to be my reality anymore. And I also knew that that's not normal. It wasn't normal looking at the menu a week in advance. It wasn't normal being so snappy and irritable. It wasn't normal, like, not wanting to be intimate with my partner. Like, it didn't actually feel like the real me. Didn't feel like the real me. And at that time, I didn't have children. I don't have children right now, but I am currently pregnant. And I remember thinking about bringing a child into this world and how much food revolved around my day, how much I thought about food, when I was eating, what I was eating, should I be eating this? I don't know, should I have the ice cream? Okay, I know I should honor my cravings, so I probably should have the ice cream, but whenever I eat what I'm craving, I always end up binging, so maybe I should say no. Like, it was just this constant battle, and I thought about bringing a child into this world, and I was like, there's no way in heck I'm going to bring a child into this world when I am obsessing over food and calories and my body 24/7. Like, that just cannot happen. It cannot happen. And thinking about my child going through what I went through over 10 years, restricting, binging, canceling plans because I felt uncomfortable in my own skin, I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. So there were so many different reasons why I decided to heal my relationship with food and conquer binge eating. Yes, I wanted to stop thinking about food. Yes, I wanted to be able to leave food on my plate without cleaning my plate all the time. Yes, I wanted to feel better in my own skin. Yes, I wanted to look good and feel good. Okay, that's great. But what I actually really, really wanted was to get back to feeling like myself again. The bubbly Lorna who loved to dress up. Physical touch is my love language. And so when I didn't want to be intimate with my husband, or I'd push his arm away when he would give me a hug, I'm like, that didn't feel like me. I wanted to be patient and calm because I knew that was like who I actually was deep down. Like right now, deep down in your heart who you actually are is this calm, loving, patient, present person. That's who you are. And then binge eating takes that away from you. It feels like you're overwhelmed all the time. It feels like you're snappy and you're irritable, and that does become your reality because you're doing things with food that don't feel like you, and that is really frustrated. That's really frustrating. When it's like, I knew I didn't need the fourth cookie. Why did I do that? I know that I shouldn't be thinking about, should I get dessert when I'm trying to be present with my husband at dinner, but all I'm thinking about is dessert. Like, you intellectually know you shouldn't be thinking about food and you shouldn't be obsessing over the way that you look, but it's challenging. It's challenging. And so a huge reason why I decided to heal my relationship with food and conquer binge eating was because I wanted to get back to feeling like myself again. And the number one reason why I am binge-free today, over 5 years binge-free today, is because I stopped giving into my urges, no matter how strong they felt. Now, I understand how challenging it is when an urge comes on to not give in. I understand. I remember feeling like it's impossible. I don't know how people do it. I remember thinking to myself, like, I just have to give in. But the reason that you're still binging is because you're continuing to give into your urges. And you're continuing to make excuses as to why you need to give in. Oh, but it's been such a long day at work and I'm just so overwhelmed. And the relief that's on the other side. And sometimes you get to a point where you're like, honestly, I don't even care how bloated I'm going to feel. I don't even care how full I'm going to feel. I just need to give in. That's happened to me so many times where I'm like, I wake up one morning and I'm like, I'm going to conquer binge eating. And then come the end of the day, I'm like, honestly, I don't even care how I look. I don't care how I feel. I don't care how freaking bloated I look. I don't give two shits. I'm binging. And I knew, especially in the evening, I wasn't going to see friends. I wasn't going to be in a bathing suit. So I'm like, I literally don't care how I look. But then the next day, I would wake up still full, still bloated from how much I ate last night. I would walk into work with like a smile on my face, and I'm like trying to pretend like everything's all good and pretend everything's all rainbows and sunshine and butterflies. Meanwhile, I was like so full and I was inflamed, and even putting on leggings was uncomfortable. And at the time I was a personal trainer. And I was like, I feel like the biggest fraud of my life. And so right now, like, what are you saying to yourself when the urge comes on? Oh, but just this one time, my husband, he brought my favorite cookies. Okay, so just this one time. Actually, you know what? I made chocolate chip banana bread, and there's like 3 pieces left. So just tonight, I'm going to finish the chocolate chip banana bread, and then it's going to be out of sight, out of mind. And then tomorrow, I'm never going to binge again. As if it was that easy. As if you can like snap your fingers and just like stop your binging tomorrow because you told yourself you're going to stop binging. What are you telling yourself? And if you're like, yes, I've said this to myself so many times, let me know. What are you saying to yourself? One last time. Oh, but I have to give in. My urges are way too strong. You are strong. You are strong. But you're telling yourself, no, but my urges are way stronger. No, but like I have to give in. This is a very common one that I hear with a lot of the clients that I work with. A lot of the times people will tell me, but I need that me time in the evening. The evenings are the only time I finally get to relax. Okay. Well, if you're wanting to relax in the evening, binge eating is not relaxing. Yes, it gives you the temporary high, the relief, the pleasure, the dopamine. Yes, absolutely. But are you actually really relaxing? No. Because when you're binging late at night, you often stay up later. I was talking to one of my clients and she's like, I ended up staying up later because I just ate so much. I'm not going to go to bed. So then you end up staying up later, going to bed later, pressing snooze on your alarm, or not even getting up to do, your morning routine. So then you feel like crap. And it's like, is that actually me time? Is that actually relaxing? No. You've just linked me time with eating because you don't know what else to do. You're so used to filling up your own cup through filling up your stomach instead of actually filling up your own cup. And so the thoughts that you're telling yourself, but like, I have to give in just one more time, but I deserve it. Like, I just need the comfort. I need the relief. It's been such a stressful day. You know that binge eating, that having a pint of ice cream isn't going to make your stress go away. You know that you still have to do that project before tomorrow. You know that you still have to clean your house and do the laundry and drop this thing off. You still have to do all the things. Binge eating doesn't solve your life's problems. It's like it temporarily makes you feel good because it's like, I can just escape from the world for a minute. I don't have to think. I don't have to feel. But then the aftermath is like not just the overwhelming stress, but now there's guilt and there's shame and there's frustration that you gave in yet again. So binge eating should not be replaced with other habits. That doesn't stop binge eating. What I see very often is people try to replace binge eating with something else. So it's like, instead of binge eating, I'm going to go to the gym. Okay, going to the gym is a great habit, but that's a distraction technique that doesn't actually eliminate your urges. Tomorrow, another urge pops up and you're going to have to go back to the gym. I used to do this with yoga classes. I'm like, okay, I typically binge in the evening. This was in 2019. And I was like, well, if I binge at night, go to yoga. Get out of the house. Just go to yoga. And I would go to yoga, and the entire time, everyone's like so calm and relaxed in their body. And I'm like, what am I going to eat when I get home? And it's like, I would get home and be like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I would still end up eating anyways. You're still thinking about food because another healthy habit doesn't rewire your brain. It doesn't change the fact that you're impulsive with food. You have to eliminate your urges. You have to rewire your brain. You have to shift the way that you're seeing certain foods. You actually have to do the work to become less impulsive. People want like this quick fix of like, instead of binging, I'm just going to go to the gym. Or instead of binge eating, I'm going to like paint my nails. Or instead of binge eating, I'm going to do something else. And it's like, that doesn't actually fix your binge eating. It's like a Band-Aid. So I don't recommend that. At least, the work that I do with my clients is all about sustainability. This is why my clients go months and months and months, years without binging. This is why I'm over 5 years binge free. When you eliminate your urges, they stop popping up. You're not going to have to try to distract yourself or do another healthy habit. You literally don't even have the urge to binge. So, what are you telling yourself when the urge comes on? One more time, I have to give in. It's too uncomfortable. Yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable. I understand, you guys. But if you continue, I'm telling you this, okay? I'm telling you this as someone who's over 5 years binge free. You continuing to give into your urges is why you're still binging. Binge eating is a habit. So just like Jessica was mentioning about the healthier habits, again, if you keep on giving into your urges, right, it becomes harder to not give in. It's like your brain knows how good it's going to feel, and it's like you feel the urge and you give in right away. You feel the urge and you give in right away. That makes your urges more intense. And then, of course, it feels harder to break this cycle. I share this example a lot. If you ever remember, like the very, very, very first time that you've ever binged, maybe you were able to, not give in a few times here and there. And then as you continued to binge, it felt way more challenging to give into your urges. That was my truth. It's like, I remember the first few times that I binged, it would be like once every few months. But I kept on giving in. And then it was like multiple times in a month. And then I kept on giving in. And then it was like multiple times a week. And then it was multiple times a day. And it became so much harder. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I'm more motivated than ever to stop binge eating. But it became harder. It became harder to give in because I kept on giving in. The urge to binge is too strong. I can't resist it. You are so much stronger than you think, but you also need the brain-based tools to help you to not give in. And if you guys haven't joined my program yet, Eliminate Your Urges, this is where I help you completely get rid of the urge to binge so that it no longer pops up. If you want to be able to eat exactly what you're craving and never go overboard, if you want to be able to say no to your urges no matter how freaking strong they feel, if you want to go months without binge eating because you don't feel that nagging urge to binge anymore, you got to be inside this program. It's literally called Eliminate Your Urges because once you eliminate your urges, they stop popping up. You don't have to try to fight against the urge and say like, come on, don't do it. You can't think your way out of a binge. This is the problem. So many people are trying to just tell themselves, no, Jordan, you can still sign up. The link is in my bio. And there's actually a bonus if you join before tonight. So take a look at my bio. So many people are waiting for a strong urge to come on to then tell themselves like, okay, don't do it. Like, come on, you got this. It's too late. You're already impulsive and you've already decided you're going to binge. Let's be freaking honest. You're driving home from work. You've already decided you're going to binge. And then it feels like you're fighting against yourself. You're like, I know I'm going to regret it. I know I'm going to feel so bloated. I know this is not actually the truth of who I am. And then there's another part of you that's like, but F it, I don't care. It's too strong. I have to give in. And then you're like playing tug of war. You would stop your binge eating so much sooner if you didn't feel the urge. Why you are eating past fullness is because you have an urge. Why you can't control yourself after having 1 or 2 cookies is because you have the urge. Imagine if you didn't feel that urge, that out-of-body experience. You would eat like a normal person. You wouldn't be eating past fullness. You're eating past fullness. You're spiraling out of control as soon as you have something sweet because you haven't eliminated your urges yet. And inside of this new program, Eliminate Your Urges, I'm going to help you completely get rid of your urges so they no longer pop up. Meaning, you can be home alone and actually fill up your own cup instead of fill up your stomach. You can be at a restaurant. And you're full from dinner and you literally have no desire to even look up the dessert menu because you're like, I don't have an urge. I don't feel the need to eat dessert. I'm full. I'm satisfied. And you listen to your body. I am 5 years binge free because I stopped giving into my urges. Every time you feel the urge to binge and you give in, you're further ingraining this habit into your brain. If you crave a sweet treat, can you try having a healthy but satisfying sweet treat? So this is another thing. A lot of people try to make these substitutions. And I am all about health, you guys. Like I am somebody who prioritizes my health at a very, very, very high level. Even as I was conquering binge eating, I've never thrown my health out the window. I've always cared so much about my health. I want to live a long life. I want to feel strong in my workouts. But the problem is, what I see happen is, let's say you're craving a cookie. And you're like, well, I should probably have something healthier. So then you go and you have, let's say like a date. You might love dates. You're like, honestly, I love dates. They're great. You put some almond butter on it, but it wasn't what you actually wanted. Sure, it was satisfying, but it wasn't what you actually wanted. And so you end up having the cookie anyways. And it's not usually just one cookie. It's like 3, 4, 5, 6, because you're like, I should have just had this in the first place. Now I'm like eating way too much, right? Or you have the date and it was satisfying, but then a few days later an urge pops up because cravings turn into urges when they're not actually given into. So I'm all about healthy substitutions, but creating healthier substitution shouldn't actually be when you're experiencing a craving. It should just be in general. Like in general, I'm going to make, healthier food choices because I want to feel my best. But when you're experiencing a craving, which is something very specific, you want to actually give into that specific craving so that it doesn't intensify and turn into an urge. So I will be diving super deep into this inside of my new program, Eliminate Your Urges. If you haven't joined yet, be sure to join. Being able to not give into your urges is what's going to help you stop binge eating so much faster. And someone just joined! Congratulations! Oh, this is so exciting. Let's see who it is. If you just joined, comment down below. Someone just joined. Congratulations. I'm so excited. Let me know who just joined. I saw a notification on my phone. Jordan, you badass. Oh my God, we're celebrating Jordan. Heck yes. I'm so freaking excited. Way to go, Jordan. We're all celebrating you. You just made the greatest decision of your life, because when you no longer feel an urge to binge, you're going to stop your binge eating so much faster. Is it self-paced? So I'm going to be dropping audio trainings every single day. And then there will be 1 or 2 Q&As with me so you can ask your questions. Jordan says, need this and you. Thank you. Oh my God, you're so welcome. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm gonna celebrate you because this is gonna change your life. I'm so excited. Okay, you guys. So, if you want to be able to have a sustainable solution to stop your binge eating, this is not about like, just tell yourself don't do it. Like, just promise yourself tomorrow's gonna be better. That is so freaking exhausting. Like, it is so draining. It takes up so much of your time and energy thinking about like, am I gonna binge today? Oh my God, I have the house to myself tomorrow. Like, I wonder, am I gonna binge? I really love baking, but maybe I shouldn't bake because what if I spiral into a binge? That is robbing you of so much precious time that you could be spending with your husband, with your family, with your children. Like, it's robbing you of so much time thinking about like, am I gonna binge today? You deserve to live a better life for yourself where you're not thinking about, am I gonna binge today or not? You're like, where are we gonna go for date night? Like, that's what you should be excited about. You should be living your life, not wondering when your next urge is gonna be. And if that sounds like you're like, yes, I want that, you need to be inside of this program because I'm gonna teach you exactly how to stop giving into your urges, and as a result, you're gonna stop your binge eating so much faster. So I'm so excited. Be sure you sign up and you join. I'm so freaking pumped up. Any questions, feel free to send me a message, but I'm so excited, and I'll see you guys inside of the program. It's kicking off at the end of October, but there are some specials if you join now. So I'm super excited. Enjoy the rest of your day, you guys, celebrating Jordan, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye guys.